Hi everyone, it's Tracy Davis here, NHS Grampian's Child Health Commissioner, and I'm here with Nicola and Nikki again to talk more about the UNCRC. Hi Nikki, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi Tracy, I'm Nikki Forsyth. I am the lead nurse for children and families in Aberdeenshire.
Thanks Nikki, and hi Nicola, do you want to say hello?
Hi Tracy, it's Nicola Kenyon here. I'm the Strategic Development Officer for GIRFEC.
Thank you, and we're delighted to be joined today by our colleague Christine. Welcome Christine, would you like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Hello Tracy and hello everyone. My name's Christine McLennan. I'm an Education Support Officer in Education Children's Services for Aberdeenshire Council.
Thank you all. So welcome to our second podcast on children's rights. We've decided to do a series of short podcasts on the general principles of the UNCRC. The general principles describe the 4 articles that underpin how the Convention should be interpreted and put into practice. They are Article 2, non-discrimination, Article 3, best interests of the child, Article 6, survival and development, and Article 12, voice and views. So today we're going to talk about Article 2, non-discrimination. Children have a right to non-discrimination. All children are equally entitled to enjoy all of their rights as set out in the UNCRC without exception. Discrimination is the word used to describe the unjust treatment of an individual or a group of individuals based on who they are or who they are suspected to be, and this might be shown as an action, a decision, a rule, or a law that singles them out, excludes them, or restricts them. As a result, the discriminated person is unable to enjoy their human rights. And I'm going to hand over to Nicola to talk a wee bit more about discrimination.
Thanks, Tracy. And as we know, discrimination can be both direct and indirect. Direct discrimination describes the different treatment of a person compared to another person in the same situation, which results in disadvantage based on their characteristics. So, for example, say there was a shop worker who, without justification, excludes a group of 16-year-olds from their shop because he assumes that because they are young, they might just cause trouble. Or a hearing impaired young person being denied participation in a music workshop. Or when we don't seek the views of a child who is pre or non-verbal. Whereas indirect discrimination is when everyone is treated equally to the disadvantage of those that might just need different support or consideration. So, for example, if everyone had to climb a flight of stairs to get to the playground, this would discriminate against children with mobility issues. Or if we had an after-school opportunity for young people to revise for an exam or work on a drama performance, although it's very valuable, it might exclude a young carer who needs to be at home to support a parent during that time of day. So, as you've already said, Tracy, Article 2 of the UNCRC ensures that all children have the rights set out in the Convention without discrimination of any kind, regardless of their race, religion, abilities, or any other status. Within GIRFEC, which is the Getting It Right for Every Child framework, this principle is crucial. GIRFEC aims to ensure that every child and young person in Scotland can grow up feeling safe, healthy, achieving, nurtured, active, respected, responsible and included. Article 2 supports this by promoting equality and protecting children and young people from discrimination.
Thanks, Nicola. So Article 2 really does have significant implications for the services we deliver, both for children and adults, because it lays the groundwork for ensuring equal access to rights and services, regardless of a background, ability or status. So let's consider the implications of Article 2 for services for children. Nikki and Christine, what does non-discrimination mean for health and for education?
So Tracy, for health, the first and most obvious implication is that all children should have access to healthcare services, regardless of race, socioeconomic status, gender or disability. For example, a child from a rural or impoverished area must have equal access to healthcare as a child from a more affluent urban area.
So Tracy, in education, it means that children and young people should have access to an education regardless of race, socio-economic status, gender or disability. All children and young people should be able to have equitable access to education. This isn't the same as equal access, as the needs of the child or young person must be considered, as these may determine the education the child or young person may require.
Thank you both. So we've talked a lot about equitable. What do we mean by equitable access?
From a health perspective, according to Article 2, governments must take proactive steps to ensure that vulnerable groups such as children with disabilities or children from minority communities do not fall behind in healthcare access. This includes providing specialised healthcare, ensuring accessible facilities, and training healthcare professionals to meet the unique needs of various groups of children.
And Tracy, equity in education means that personal or social circumstances are not obstacles to achievement, and that all children and young people are well supported and have the same opportunities to succeed.
That's really excellent. Thank you both. So we're talking about targeted universalism, aren't we? Where the goal is set, but the processes we put in place to reach that goal might be different depending on different needs. So if we think about the saying that a rising tide lifts all boats, but only if all boats are adequately equipped in the first place. It's quite a simple way to think about it. So I'm going to come back to you guys again. Can you give some examples of what inclusion means?
So Tracy, from a health perspective again, children from all backgrounds, including those from local communities and migrant families, must be served by health services. Offering healthcare services suited to particular needs like mental health support for children from areas of conflict, assuring cultural competency in healthcare settings, and providing multilingual health information are a few examples of how to do this.
And Tracy, an example in Aberdeenshire is the Stigma of Poverty resource that the young people of the Pupil Participation Forum are making. The Pupil Participation Forum has up to 6 representatives from all 17 secondary schools in Aberdeenshire. They meet regularly and create events and resources to support schools and ensuring that young people's voices are key to the education they experience. Currently, they're working on a resource to support schools in poverty-proofing the school experience. Using the results of an Aberdeenshire-wide survey, the resource will reflect the lived experience of young people who have had financial challenges in their education and will signpost schools to resources such as Cost of the School Day Toolkit. It's hoped that this will enable schools to be more equitable in their approach and offer, and that everyone will be more consciously aware of the stigma of poverty and its impact on the education and well-being of our young people.
And that's a fantastic example of the work from our young people here in Aberdeenshire. Did any of you manage along to the YPOC event? That's the Young People's Organising and Campaigning Group. They held a launch of their Challenge Stigma campaign recently. YPOC is a group of care experienced young people who advocate for themselves and for other children and young people who are care experienced. This campaign includes a fantastic video and song, Don't Label Me, Enable Me. And that tune stays with you, and the very powerful message that comes with it. It's well worth a listen in if you haven't yet. Have a wee look on the GIRFEC website. The videos are there.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nicola, Nikki and Christine. You've all shared really excellent examples of work that's going on for and with young people to tackle discrimination. So really, really important conversation. The purpose of these podcasts is to discuss the UNCRC, which, as we know, applies to all children up to the age of 18. But there must be some principles relating to Article 2 that extend to adults as well. Nikki, what do you think?
I think that is an excellent point, Tracy. And parents and guardians play a key role in children's healthcare. Article 2 implies that health services must also consider the rights of families and caregivers to receive necessary support. For instance, adult health services like mental health services or parental education could have an indirect impact on children's well-being. Healthcare systems for adults should similarly eliminate discrimination based on race, socioeconomic status, disability, or any other factor. By ensuring equality in health services for adults, it also strengthens the environment in which children grow and receive care. In some cases, adult health services that are discriminatory or inaccessible can negatively affect the children in their care. For example, if a parent cannot access healthcare due to economic barriers, this could directly affect the child's health. Governments need to create healthcare systems that cater to universal coverage, ensuring both adults and children can equally access the care they need.
Thanks for that, Nikki. Parents and carers play a key role in children's education too, as you can imagine. Article 2 implies that education must also consider the rights of families and carers to receive the necessary support. This may include ensuring parents have the right support and information to allow them to help their young people through their education. This could include providing information about the curriculum and how young people learn. It may also include offering family learning sessions so that parents are aware of their roles in education and how best to support their child. It could also include providing more individualised information for parents of children with additional support needs or targeted support for families. This would require coordinated multi-agency support depending on the needs of the child and the family.
Well, guys, what a lot we've covered in such a short period of time, haven't we? It's been great to have that conversation. Can I just summarise what we've talked about? Article 2 of the UNCRC establishes the principle of non-discrimination in all areas, including all children's services and beyond. The implications are far-reaching, ensuring that all children and young people, regardless of background, have access to essential services and support, while also laying the groundwork for fairness and inclusivity that benefits both children and adults. Respecting this right is both a legal and moral obligation, and I would just like to point out that our rights and wellbeing impact assessments, which are part of our integrated impact assessments that we all have across our services, these play a crucial role in ensuring that policies, projects and decisions uphold children and young people's rights and promote their wellbeing. These assessments help identify potential impacts on children and young people's rights and provide recommendations to mitigate any negative effects. By incorporating rights and wellbeing impact assessments, organisations can ensure that their actions are aligned with the principles of the UNCRC, particularly Article 2, that we've talked quite a lot about. Finally, inclusive and equitable health and education systems lead to healthier families, stronger communities and a more just society for everyone. Look out for our next podcast, where we will be discussing Article 3, the best interests of the child. Lovely to see you all, Tracy, Nikki and Christine, and of course, thank you to everyone for tuning in and listening.